In this video, I'm going to share with you some of my knowledge on money-related topics. Specifically, I know you want to know about the best credit cards for the seasoned traveler as well as the best credit card for the novice traveler. I'm going to share that with you and share with you some that I've learned about money along the way. Hey guys, if you're new here, thank you for clicking on the video. My name is Lori, and on this channel, I share with you all things travel related. So it's all about different trips that I'm taking. It's about different ways to pack. It's about hotel reviews. It's about ways to save money on traveling. In a previous video, I talked to you a little bit about how to save on your flights. And I said that one of the ways was to use affinity points. And I said that I think that the travel cards have been discounted. A lot of them more in the recent years, and I'll see if I can post some of the headlines for you here. They either have such restricted dates that you can travel and travel for free with them, or what they will do is have policies where you can't roll over your travel from one year to the next, or they'll say certain flights, certain cabins, certain seats may not be eligible for the points or the miles that you may have with them. Now, I did have pre-pandemic, I did have Delta Sky Miles credit card. I think it was just a gold member or something like that, because I'm not particularly brand loyal when it comes to either credit cards or hotel rooms or airplanes, airline companies, because for me, it's where I can find the best service and the best deal and all the things combined. So most of the time, I'm looking for the flights that are going to get me to where I need to go on time, that they're going to be comfortable, that it's not going to feel like I'm being herded like cattle. So no, I've never taken a Spirit flight. I've never taken a Spirit flight, and from all that I've heard, it's all of that. So I think Allegiant is the discount airline that I prefer to travel. I've taken Southwest, and interestingly enough, I think the return flight that I was taking with Southwest, it got canceled, and so I had to take another flight to get back home from Texas. And yeah, but that's a different story for another day. Today, we're talking about travel credit cards or reward credit cards. And so I know you want to know, I mentioned it in this video when I was talking about the best credit cards and the miles and such, when I was talking about TSA PreCheck and Global Entry. And I said that this credit card specifically will give you credit towards your Global Entry fee. So once every 5 years, you get $100 towards Global Entry. There's another credit card that will give you a fee towards Clear. So if you are someone who uses Clear as opposed to Global Entry, and Clear is just another one of those trusted traveler programs that I spoke about in that video. So for some people, Clear is better, and I saw the Clear line when I was coming through, where was I? From Vegas coming back. The Clear line seemed to be pretty short. So I don't know if there was a Global Entry there at the Vegas airport, but I didn't see. I don't know. For some people, especially if you're in Canada, Clear may be the choice for you. If you prefer Clear, fine, but I know Global Entry is top tier, paramount. But if you're in certain countries, Clear may be the preferred choice because the program is easier to navigate, or there tend to be more kiosks or what have you at your particular airport that you frequent the most. So for me, TSA, Global Entry, or Global Entry with TSA component is a much preferred version. So, like I said, this credit card will definitely give you that credit towards that, as opposed to this one, which will give you credit towards Clear. If you are comfortable with paying the fees associated, the annual fees associated with those credit cards. Now, there are rolling offers that these credit cards come with. And so I'm hesitant to put those offers up on the screen because it may be, I don't know when you're watching this video, but as of now, as of May 2023, there are so many credit cards offering like 80,000 points, and it's like point for point. So you can transfer these points, and I prefer to recommend these cards, if people are going to get credit cards, to recommend these cards to the more experienced traveler who will actually use the global entry, the pre-check, the clear, and who maybe spends enough money to justify having this exorbitant fee at the end of the year. I personally have downgraded all of my cards during the pandemic so that they are to the non-fee versions of those cards. I had, I think, a Hilton American Express card and the Delta American Express card, the Delta Airlines American Express card, and I downgraded those both to the non-paying versions. Okay, I'm going to back it up now. So those are the two that I would recommend for the more experienced traveler, someone with established credit. And with established credit, let me back it up all the way, because I've had at least 2 requests for this video about what is the best credit card. And the best credit card will depend on your credit circumstances. So I have to talk about credit because one of the people who asked me for this video was a college student. So I have to be very careful about that. Credit, first of all, credit ranges. You can definitely have what is considered poor credit, but usually anything 720 and above is considered to be excellent credit. And all credit is a rating that's given to you. Usually it's by Fair Isaacs or Vantage. Fair Isaacs and Vantage both give credit scores. They rate you according to a number of factors. Those factors can include things anywhere from, are you on time with your bills? Do you have any outstanding credit? And back up even further, I told you this is a conversation I had to sit down for. I hope you grab some tea. I hope you grab something to drink. I hope you grab some snacks. I hope you grab pen and paper. Bookmark this video or save this video so you can come back to it later, because I'm going to give you a ton of information and very detailed information that I hope that you can put to good use. Because for some reason or other, I'm the person also in my family and in my circle that people come to not just for travel advice, but also for money advice. And there are reasons beyond this video that I won't talk about personally. But yeah, there are a number of reasons why. Maybe, number of reasons why. So, number one, how do you establish good credit? If you listen to certain financial gurus, which I read a lot, that's one of the reasons why people come to me for this kind of advice. I stay abreast of the new information that's out there. Especially regarding money and finances, and also with respect to travel, of course. So I read a lot, I stay abreast of the news and what's happening with these kinds of things. And if you understand and you listen to a lot of the financial gurus, people fall on either one side or the other of the fence with respect to credit scores and credit cards and what does it mean and all of that. Some people on the one hand say, oh, you shouldn't care about your credit score. Credit is just a debt. What do they say? Credit is a measure of how well you can repay debt, or how well you can go into debt and get out of debt. And to some degree, that is true. That is absolutely true. I used to listen to Dave Ramsey when I was younger, and I would say Dave Ramsey, and if you listen to his radio show or his podcast, I think it is a podcast now, I haven't listened to him in quite some time, but Dave Ramsey, I think, is good for when you're at the stage of, I'm deeply in debt and I need to figure a way out, because he has the snowball method where he talks about, starting with your smaller debt and then working up to your larger debt, so you can see progress. You start with a small snowball, and then you work your way up and snowball. You start making payments on the smallest debt. So if you have a credit card that has only $100 balance that you need to pay, then start by paying that one off before you tackle the one that has $1,000 balance on it, so that you can see success and you can feel accomplished and you can feel, that you've done something with that, and empowered, I guess you can say. So he has the snowball method that he talks about. You start from one debt and da-da-da-da-da. Dave Ramsey is very much anti-credit cards. Anyone who calls into his show and say something about, so which is the best credit card, Dave? He will say credit cards. I don't recommend credit cards. I travel only with a debit card. Okay, so that's an example of someone who is on the one hand of debt is bad. And he's very, very, very proud of the fact that he does not have a credit score. He has a 0 credit score. So he said if you go on Fair Isaacs and look for his FICO score, or if you go on Vantage to look for that score, he would have a 0 score because he has 0 debt. He doesn't owe anyone any money. He doesn't believe in having a mortgage. He doesn't believe in having a credit card. He doesn't believe in having a car payment. He doesn't believe in any of those things. And he says that there are different ways that even if you do get a mortgage, there are ways that you can have them manually underwrite your loan, way beyond the scope of this video. Have them manually underwrite your loan to make sure that you can qualify for the loan, so that they know that you will be a good candidate for that. You will be a good candidate for repayment of that loan. So that's on the one hand. On the other hand, you have people who say it is absolutely critical for you to have some established credit, because in this world, at least the world we live in right now, right here, especially if you're living in the US, your credit is very important. And people will say, well, yes, you should use a credit card for you should use a debit card for everything. Dave Ramsey's of the world, a debit card. You should use the envelope system, the envelope stuffing system. I think that's a trend going on now on TikTok or something like that. It's an old school method, okay? Our grandfathers did it, where they used cash written on an envelope. This is for rent, this is for groceries, this is for that, and they only use the money. It's budgeting. It's budgeting 101, okay? So the Dave Ramseys of the world believe in the stuffing the envelope method, the using cash or using debit cards only. And then there are other financial gurus. For example, if you wanted an example of a financial guru who is very much about using credit cards and using them wisely and using them to your advantage, Clark Howard is one of the ones that I would advise that you listen to about that. And listening to both and hearing the different perspectives may be interesting, especially if you're a novice in this whole thing of understanding the world of money and understanding if you're a little bit, nervous or anxious about even coming to terms with these kinds of topics, coming to terms with these kinds of discussions. So Clark Howard, on the other hand, believes that, and I definitely subscribe to this theory, to this way of thought, that using a credit card affords you certain protections that a debit card does not. Still to this day, debit cards will not offer you the same purchase protections as credit cards do. I, for one, would rather, and I have personally used the protections offered by credit card. For instance, read the fine print. If you do have a credit card, for those of you who have established credit, if you do have a credit card, read your credit card fine print. My major credit card, the one that I use most frequently for purchases, just recently contacted me and told me about a new benefit that they will be offering, if you pay your cell phone bill with your credit card and something happens to your phone, whether it's lost, stolen, or damaged, they will replace that phone for free. Yeah. So read the fine print. When I go to rent a car, I rent a car with a credit card that has coverage for car rentals. That way I can, say I can politely decline the insurance offer at the rental counter, because I know that my credit card, not only does my insurance company cover me, my car insurance company, if you have a vehicle, you're ensure that your policy covers you when you're also renting a car, first of all, and it does. And then also the credit card that I use has a backup policy in case something were to happen to the vehicle. It would cover me in that case as well. So I'm doubly covered when I'm renting a car. Airline tickets during the pandemic, again, something happened and, things shut down, and some companies were not willing to work with me to give me back my money for a trip that I never took. for hotels I had booked, for things that were occurring. Now, yes, I had a festival. I was going to a jazz fest in Miami. That didn't happen. So, you know, that's a wash. Of course, people have to be paid and everything, so fine. But the flight I never took, the hotel I never stayed at, yes, please give me my money back. And the credit card company worked on my behalf. I should say, you're asking me like, what credit card is it? Okay, it's a USAA card. The services, they have cards for people who are veterans and the families of those who are veterans. So if you're married to someone who is a veteran, then you can usually get in that way as well. Back to what I was saying, they have coverages that will protect me in the case of a fraudulent charge. They will call me in the morning, you know, hey, we see that there was a charge at a McDonald's 1,000 miles from you. Are you there purchasing something at a McDonald's? Because we saw that you just gassed up in your hometown. So did you just, you know, automatically fly 1,000 miles to such and such? And absolutely not. That was not me. Please shut that down. They will shut it down. They will launch an investigation. They will overnight me. They will FedEx me another copy of the card so that I have a brand new number. I'm no longer using that. I'm not responsible for any of those fraudulent charges, which that is what most credit cards will give you. Debit cards, you may have to fight a little bit harder with a debit card, a little bit harder. And once that money is out of your account, you're without that money. A credit card, there is credit that was loaned to you that someone fraudulently stole from you. When there's money in your account, in your savings account, in your checking account that you're using with that debit card, that money is gone until that investigation is over, until they decide whether or not they will put that money, they will replace that money in your account. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I didn't do it. It's not fair. You know, I purchased an item, a luxury designer item, that once I received the item, I noticed that the measurements were off on the item. Did a little bit more research. Supposedly I purchased it from a very reputable establishment and all of that, an online source. And I even paid for extra authentication of the item. That did not happen, apparently. And they were not responding to me. Very well-known place, very well-known place. They were not responding to my strongly worded letters and my phone calls and such. And so I just got my credit card on the line and said, I'm disputing this charge. I would like to charge it back. I would like to not have this on and so it went through a series of investigations. And at the end of the day, not only was that amount that was debited or placed on my balance taken off, but the company apologized and said, oh, you can keep the shoes. Oh, shoes. I just said it. I don't want the shoes. They don't fit right. But I just didn't want it, right? So that's another benefit of credit cards, where you can have that extra purchase protection, where you can have that rental protection, where you can have all these other protections that are offered. There's a host of them. Read your fine print. I know some people don't like to read the terms, the T's and C's, the terms and conditions that come along with things. But in this day and age, read your T's and C's. Click on that like button, click on that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel, okay?